This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
The Puritans and the Pilgrims were two significant immigrant groups who moved from England to America in the 1600s. Both groups existed in England at a time when the country underwent a break from Catholicism. Following this break with the Catholic Church, the Church of England was established and every Englishman was required to acknowledge its authority. This new state of affairs led a group of religious people to seek immigration to the New World so that they could exercise their religious freedoms. Thus, in the early 1600s, the Pilgrims and the Puritans left England for America out of religious considerations. This paper will highlight the major differences between the Puritans and the Pilgrims. The most significant difference between the two groups is that while the Pilgrims desired separation of church and state, the Puritans only wanted to purify the Church of England from within. The Pilgrims did not want to belong to the Church of England, and they took to holding meetings in barns and homes. These separatists formed their own religious rules and traditions. Because of this, the King of England persecuted the separatists. These Pilgrims, therefore, moved to America, which was viewed as a place where they could have the freedom to worship the way they wanted. The Puritans, on the other hand, did not seek a separation from the English establishment and only wanted to carry out reforms to remove corruption from the church. The Puritans immigrated to the New World since they were persecuted in their attempts to instigate reforms in the Church of England. The two groups also differed in their perception of God. The Puritans deemed religion as a guideline for everyday living, and God was regarded as a strict supernatural being who ruled over all. The Puritans laid great emphasis on spirituality, and members of this group had great biblical knowledge. Owing to their concern for Christian purity, the Puritans were strict in their way of life. Conversely, the Pilgrims had a more accommodating perception of God, who was viewed as a benevolent and lenient ruler who could forgive easily. The Pilgrims had a more liberal approach to worship and religion, and little emphasis was made on spirituality. The Pilgrims' way of life was more tolerant, and it did not have many restrictions. The other difference between the two groups is that while the Pilgrims emphasized individual righteousness before God, the Puritans were committed to corporate righteousness. The Pilgrims were in favor of a strong separation between the church and state, and for this reason, they were regarded as radical rebels. To this group, each person was accountable for his or her actions to God, and corporate righteousness was unbiblical. The Puritans, on the other hand, supported corporate worship and deemed the state as integral to the perpetration of religion. The Puritans thought that the role of the government was to enforce God's laws. The Puritans and the Pilgrims played a major role in the development of the American colonies. This paper set out to articulate the difference between the two groups. To this end, it has been documented that the major difference was that the Pilgrims were separatists, while Puritans wanted to purify the Church of England. Despite their differences, the two groups moved to the New World, where they were able to practice the religious freedoms they did not enjoy in England. This essay on how the Puritans differed from the Pilgrims was written and submitted by a student just like you. The Ivy Panda Samples database hosts thousands of works similar to this one on various subjects. Visit ivypanda.com to find what you are looking for, free of charge.